So up to this point, we have added 9 steps in this exploded view. Let's add more. So we have this complete channel subassembly with several components in it. Now, if I select any component here, it will select only that component. It won't select the entire assembly. And that's happening because of this simple checkbox, select subassembly parts. Now, whenever you have subassemblies in your assembly and you want to just select every individual component from that subassembly, well, in that case, you can keep it checked. But let's say in this case, we want to select this entire assembly. In that case, you need to either select it one by one, every single component, or simply uncheck this option. When you uncheck this option, SolidWorks will let you select the entire subassembly. Now I'll go to this object selection option, I'll clear it, and now I'll select just one component. And you'll notice that now it just selected the entire subassembly. All right, that's what we want for this case. And not only that, we want to select both of these subassemblies. Now, after selecting that, go to this radial option and just move them apart. And we're doing that to create some room. And as we move them apart, you'll notice that these screws will remain where they are right now. So I'll just move it apart, kind of like this, and click on done. All right, now, if you want to now further explode these assemblies, well, you can do that as well. So I'll go to step explode again. And now I'll ensure that this select subassembly part is selected because now I want to selectively explode these parts. So here I'll just select this one and I'll also select this one. All right. And now I'll move it back. All right. And click on done. Now I will select this part right here and this part right here, and I'll just move it forward like so. All right, and click on done. And this is the mid channel. So that's the kind of exploded view which I want for this case, and that's how we got it. Now in a similar way, I will make exploded view from these hinges. So let's just go to this close-up view of the hinges. And as you can see, there are several screws inside this. So in this case, it will be better if we just explode it using only these screws. So I'll just select all of these screws that we have here. 6 of these here and 6 screws from this side. All right, and we have it all selected. Now I'll go to this radial option and I'll just move it like so. I'll just move it inside here. All right, and click on done. Now we have, well, some of these screws here, which we can move on this side. So I'll go to this step explode now, and I'll select, well, all of these screws. Now I'll zoom in to make this selection easier, or you can also type G key to zoom in, and then you can easily select it like this. All right, and let's just move it on this side like that. And I'll click on done. And here we are. So we've got this complete assembly with almost every single component now spread out in this space. Now that we have created this exploded view, let's click OK. And now it's added in the remaining steps. So 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14 steps are added. And if you want to animate this, well, you can do that from here as well. So you can simply right click on the exploded view 1 and select animate collapse. You can also collapse it if you want to from here, but for now I'll just animate this. And here we are. So it will show all the steps one by one as we did for exploding this. All right, let's just close it. Now we have exploded view 1 created. Let's add one more exploded view. So I'll go to this main tree, and here I will use a quick method of exploding this kind of assembly. So I'll go to exploded view, and now instead of selecting any of these options, the step and the radial option, I'll simply go to auto space component option in the options panel. Select this, and now we have, well, a slider. This slider will actually adjust the spacing between exploded components, and it will automatically explode all the components. So in this case, I will just keep it at somewhere in the midpoint. And then we have 3 options. You can explode it with respect to center, with respect to the back panel, or with respect to the front part of this complete assembly. So whatever you want, you can choose from this list. In this case, let's start with the center point, and the exploded assembly will explode with respect to the center of this entire assembly. So in this case, I'll keep this one selected. Also, I'll make sure select sub-assembly part is checked so that all the assembly parts and sub-assembly parts are selected individually. And with that, I'll select this entire assembly now. All right, now that assembly is selected, let's use this triad to move them apart. So here I'll just move it and I'll move it out. And now you can see that it is moving out in a manageable way. And it is already exploding every single screw and the hinge bolts and everything. And you don't need to do it manually. Not only that, once it is exploded, you can again explode it manually. For example, in this case, we have some bolts here. You can just move them apart using this arrow. That's for the last one. And then we have this arrow right here. That's for the entire cabinet. You can move it back. Then we have this arrow for other set of bolts. And I think I can move it slightly back, kind of like this. All right. Then we have this one for other set of bolts. Maybe I'll just move it while slightly back. And then we have one for the drawer. I'll just move it all the way to the front. And then we have this one for this complete assembly. Well, we'll leave it here and we'll later take care of it. Also, we have this for the panels. So you can just move the panels here. And there we are. So we've got all of these right here. So after moving them separately one by one, you can go to this list and click on done. And now you can fine tune this. So since we have already moved it like this, we can now individually select the components and move them apart. In this case, I'll maybe select this top panel. I'll move it up. All right, click on done. I'll select this panel. I'll move it back and done. I'll select this panel and this panel. I'll make sure it is radial and I'll just move them apart and done. And in a similar way, we can just move these apart as well. But as you can see, we have lot less steps now because most of the exploded geometry was right here with several screws, and SolidWorks automatically took care of that with the auto space option. Now, the only thing that may still need our attention is these sub-assemblies. So I'll just uncheck this select sub-assembly parts. And now I'll select this sub-assembly and this sub-assembly, and I'll just move them close together like this. And click OK. And now we have a completely new exploded view called exploded view 2. So exploded view 1 was this. And then we have exploded view 2, double click here and that view will show up. You can also animate this if you want. So you can select animate collapse and this is how it's going to show the complete assembly.